The road closure notice is online, and parish councils have been informed by email that Dinah's Hollow will be shut from the 5th of January, potentially for a year, to allow the £8 million scheme to prevent the loss of life or injury should the Hollow's banks collapse and engulf a vehicle and its passengers. But some Melbury Abbas and Cann residents and homeowners don't feel consulted over a project that could start in a month, although the new chairman of the parish council says he's pleased with mitigation measures to avoid side lanes becoming blocked. At his first meeting, taking the reins from outgoing Chair David Webber, Ben Johnson listed the proposed one-way systems, which will get traffic between the A350 and C13 once the works take place. You won't be able to get any further north than the right-hand turn for the airfield if you're driving up the C13 from Blandford towards Shaftesbury, unless you're going to a Melbury address.
The C13 will be closed from Boundary Road to the B3081, with access being only for residents and emergency service between Boundary Lane and West Lane.
And there'll be restricted traffic flow around the village of Melbury.
Quarry Lane, School Lane, one way, A350 to the C13, and it will be signed to say this is what you have to do. As long as people stick to it. If it does, great. Someone, but that's the other person hopefully. White Lane is one way, C13 to the B3081. West Lane, one way, C13 to the A350. Mill Hollow, one way to the B3081 via West Lane, and West Lane will remain two-way between the A350 and Quarry Lane. For those who know, that's going to be like 200 metres.
As we've already reported, traffic on the A350 will be slowed.
Temporary speed restrictions on the A350 and as follows: Compton is 20, Fontmell Magna 20, Sutton Waltham 20, Ewan-Minster 20, Steepwood Bends 30. Who can get round there at 30? I'd like to see them try.
They're thinking about putting traffic lights there too.
And they're on putting traffic signals on the bends, Steepwood Bends. Not too sure if that will happen or not, but that's what they're discussing.
There may be traffic lights in Compton too on the 350.
This is a new one. Two-way temporary signals at Aincombe Head, which is the sharp bend to Compton Abbas. And they're on putting three-way signals at Clayswall School to Higher Street and Terrace, as the A350 through the village and up Tower Hill.
Councillor David Webber thought there was an omission in the areas where a 20-mile-an-hour speed reduction on the A350 is being proposed.
It's interesting to note then that all the villages on the A350 get a 20 limit except Cann.
Yes, that's what.
Despite the fact that Cann has the only traffic management system on the entire A350 road.
I put that point to Councillor Johnson after the meeting.
That's quite a difficult one because it's so wiggly. I think, and as Roy said, with the speed camera testing, it was below the speed limit all the way through, so that you can't speed through Cann. You just can't do it. Okay, put your mind to it, you could. But generally with traffic, you can't speed, and it works on traffic flows, so leave it alone.
Roads changing from two-way to one-way will take a lot of getting used to, but Councillor Jenny Weston says it seems like a good plan.
Yes, it's going to be inconvenient, but it's going to be a damn sight quicker than meeting somebody and not having a passing place.
Councillor William Pritchard appeared hopeful it would prevent the chaos experienced by some residents who are blocked into the lanes when the lower road to Blandford was closed earlier this year and traffic piled onto the C13, with drivers trying to find alternative back routes to avoid the jams.
And certainly when we get towards the summer, now yes, it won't necessarily be as bad because you wouldn't expect so much traffic as when they closed the A350 and we had that whole week of horrendous queues along White Pit Lane back in July. And those need to be avoided because quite clearly if there's emergency traffic needing to get through, or there's just sort of residents who can't just want to get out to go somewhere and can't.
So will drivers follow the signage? Councillor Johnson believes most will.
I think the general feeling is that most people are very law-abiding and will follow a diversion and won't go through. You always get some that will try and cut through, and I think we'll have, as based on that meeting, there'll be some issues for the first month whilst things settle down. I think you'll find, if you do your speed check through Cann Common to Zigzag, I think you'd find you get an increased traffic flow and increased speeds because you'll have more people using it. Because they'll be trying to zip down and go down White Pit Lane, which they aren't allowed to do, but they will because some will try and local knowledge, I'll cheat, I'll zip down there.
It was Dorset councillor Jane Somper, who represents many of the parishes on the A350 that will be affected by the closure of the C13. Melbury Abbas and Cann, Compton Abbas and Fontmell Magna. She pushed for the 20-mile-an-hour limit on that road and also wanted a panel of representatives from the parishes affected to meet with Dorset Council to thrash out traffic management proposals. Councillor Johnson's pleased that the one-way plan seems to have been favoured. He told the parish council meeting that's what Melbury Abbas and Cann had asked Dorset Council for.
They listened to what we said. We had a lovely meeting. They were really good. They've come back with everything we suggested. So you cannot say, brilliant, thank you for listening and thank you for implementing it, as they have done.
Even though they've done what you've asked for, do you still have concerns because it will be disruptive, won't it?
The biggest one we had was we had holidaymakers with caravans and they don't drive them all the time. So they try and cut through the lanes, they get their sort of, or cut down through there, and you have them stuck trying to traverse. And if you get a guy in a van coming the other way, it becomes, which we have had happen before, becomes a bit of an issue. But it will sort itself out. As some people stay calm, it will sort itself out and we'll get there, and people will learn from their mistakes.
So the Dinah's Hollow works are meant to start in the first week in January, although Parish Councillor Roy Phillips alluded there could be a spanner in those works.
A public inquiry in July this year, and the results should be out in the next week or so. Are you aware of that?
As the owner of land that Dorset Council will compulsory purchase, Roy Phillips said he couldn't say any more. I put that point to Ben Johnson.
There were several documents they had to get signed off by Roy, no more than I, by central government to say they could push them to go ahead and do it. They had to get those things signed off. They're all in process apparently. They think they will come through. It was if they weren't sure they're going to start on the 5th or a week later. But they've put it down for the 5th, so it will be the 5th.
The Parish Council did fight hard against the Dinah's Hollow works, but their consultant, whom they hoped would provide evidence to oppose the plans, agreed broadly with Dorset Council that there was a safety to life, and the Parish Council accepted the work does need to be done. Some locals in the Parish Council meeting were unhappy. One local said he hadn't been properly consulted by Dorset Council, who want to arrange what's known as an easement, a legal right to use part of his land as part of the scheme works.
Where the council have now said to me I must sign for them to do what they want on the front of my property. They'll give me what's termed a peppercorn, I believe, which is £1 a year or something like that. And I just want to find out what's going on.
He tried to quiz parish councillors about what they knew and was told Roy Phillips is your man.
Roy is our expert on Dinah's Hollow and how to communicate with them and get the best response from them.
But Roy will get a payout from Dorset Council as his land is being sold as part of the Dinah's Hollow bank strengthening project, so he couldn't say anything in the meeting and had to remain tight-lipped.
I must declare an interest, so I can't actually comment.
Those are the rules, but it brought a bemused response from another resident.
He's the exact person who knows enough to be able to do something. It's heartbreaking what they plan.
Sorry, can I just say, you've just said that he's the man to speak to, but now he can't comment.
In arranging this easement, the villager revealed that Dorset Council has offered to underwrite his legal fees.
I did say as well, if I want to appoint a solicitor, that they are happy to pay for it.
And that prompted some free advice from Councillor David Webber. Take the money.
If somebody offers to pay you solicitor's fees, take it.
But Councillor Roy Phillips was able to raise another concern for people living nearby the proposed Dinah's Hollow scheme, the hours of work.
6:30 in the morning and carry on till 7:30 in the evening. And weekend work as well.
The clock is ticking towards the proposed 5th of January start date. We'll see whether Councillor Roy Phillips' reference to the outcome of the public inquiry results in a roadblock. The Parish Council feel it's all systems go, and Councillor Johnson does accept that the first few weeks of the new year will present some challenges.
But it will be chaotic for the first month or so, absolutely.